Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, Instagram. Good morning, YouTube. It is Thursday. It is Cotton Cuts time. Thank you guys so much for joining us. It is a very cold and rainy day here. I think spring's here. Everyone goes out. We all get our raccoon eye sunglass type thing going on. And all of a sudden it starts pouring and it's chilly again. But that's spring in St. Louis. So happy spring wherever you are. I'm seeing folks check in from all over. Good morning, Kelly Parker from Arizona. I actually grew up in Arizona. Love Arizona a lot. I see people snowy. I see sunny Minnesota. Oh, Kim, it's sunny in Minnesota today. Good morning, everybody. Okay, we've got a great show for you today. We're going to talk about our Earth Day challenge. I love doing this every year. This is one of the things that we do all the time. It is near and dear to my heart, and I cannot wait to share what we've got planned for you guys. Gianna, that makes me very happy. Gianna says that Cotton Cuts makes Thursday morning so much better. Thank you, Gianna. I appreciate that. I know you're California, so it's very early for you, so I appreciate you joining us. Good morning from Michigan. Cloudy and windy in New Mexico. Thanks for sharing, Jennifer. All right. North Las Vegas, Nevada. Thanks for joining us, Karen. Okay, so we're going to start, as we always do, with two questions that have been submitted by you guys. Go to cottoncuts.com/live to submit your questions. These are literally sitting on the table when I sit down. Paula keeps them under wraps and I see them live and get to experience it with all of you guys. So our first question for today is from Shirley from Eagle River, Alaska. Holy cold in Alaska this time of year. So thanks for your question, Shirley. She asks, being somewhat new to Cotton Cuts, I missed the chance for floral states. Is there any chance to buy the entire set? It's a fantastic question, Shirley. So our team, we got all of the floral state shipments out last week. Like, they are gone. So everyone is stitching away and sewing away. And I love seeing you guys post your blocks. Please, please, please do more of that. I love seeing your guys' blocks be posted. I cannot wait to see who the first person is that's going to post a finished one. I'm like eagerly waiting to see. I didn't get a chance to keep up with this one. And so we didn't have folks in the shop sewing along with you guys, but I cannot wait to see your guys and your finished ones come together. So please post those as we go. So back to Shirley's questions. Is there any chance to buy the entire set? So I'm going to say at this point, unless something significantly changes, the answer is going to be unfortunately no. We've gone back through and done our inventory of some of the states, and it turns out of our 300 floral states detectives, about 60 were from the state of Texas. And so we are completely out of Texas fabric. And so I don't want to sell you 49 states. That feels a little uncomfortable. So we are going to see if we can get some more of that Texas fabric. I know that Andover still has some on their website. So we are begging and borrowing to see if we can even get a short bulk to see if we can do this. As of right now, unfortunately, we are not looking positive in that category, but we're still working the issue, Shirley. And so as we know more, we will definitely share more with you. But as of now, you can live vicariously through. Now, if you are not wanting to do the full 50 states, we do have most of the states up on the website right now where you can go and do a single block. So say you want to pick your 4 favorite states or your 8 favorite states and make a mini quilt or make even a smaller throw than the bigger quilt. You can definitely do that. Those individual blocks are on the website and available for you now. Shirley, thanks so much for the question. More to come. Stay tuned. We are trying our best. It is that Texas state, is that big state. There's a lot of people there that participated. And so we are seeing if we can get more. All right. Thanks so much for your question, Shirley. Sandy from Denver, Colorado asks, I'm struggling with choosing the right batting for my quilts. Can you explain the differences between cotton, wool, and polyester batting and when to use each? Okay, so Sandy, this is like a PhD dissertation level question. Let's see here. So it could be like we did a whole live on this. And so I spoke about it for like 45 minutes a bit ago. I'll get Paula to put the link up to that video in the comments. But really, at its 101, at its foundational level, the difference in batting depends on what you are going to be using your quilt for. And so that is the first piece that'll inform what batting you should use on the inside. Is it going to be just a quilt that you quilt and hang on the wall? Are you entering it for a competition? Are you sewing it for a baby that is going to need to be washed a lot? Are you sewing it for a bed and you want it to have a higher loft? Do you want it to have a high loft or a low loft? How do you want to quilt it? Do you want to quilt it really close together and have a lot of thread weight in there? Do you want it to be something that can be used in the summer with a lighter weight, or do you want it to be used in the winter with a higher weight? So all of these things are factors that play in to which batting you choose. And I will say, you know, there's the rules, right? If you're making a quilt for this climate, use this type of batting. I am a big fan of using the batting that's fit for purpose, but also fits your budget, right? Please, please, please do not break your bank trying to get the hot, like getting a bamboo or a recycled batting if it doesn't fit your budget and it doesn't fit your purpose. So make sure you're weighing all of those factors, but also price. I mean, I live in the real world, gang. We don't have infinite money. And so in that case, make sure that price is factoring into your batting selection. I see that Paula posted the link to the video, so go check that out. And there's a lot more detail. I actually have samples of a lot of different types of batting. And we had a lot of communication and engagement from our folks about what batting they prefer and what types of things they do. Now, with all that said, if you have a large quilt and you're sending it to a long armor, chances are you're going to use whatever batting they have. And that's fantastic and great too, because really it's in the middle of your quilt. And there's lots of things that go into that question. So Sandy, I'm sorry, I don't have like 45 minutes to talk about this now, but we have some fantastic resources and some great folks in this community that can help you. You can also probably ask this question in the Cotton Cuts Fabric group on Facebook and see what folks tell you. If you provide a little bit more detail about your quilt. So, hey, I'm making a quilt for a newborn. Hey, I'm making a quilt. I'm going to quilt into a pillow. What would you prefer? And so those types of questions can help us help guide you in the right direction. All right. That's fantastic. We survived the questions today. Woohoo. All right. So with that, if you have a question for us, feel free to submit it at cottoncuts.com/live. They will be here for me and we will answer them all together. Thank you to Shirley and thank you to Sandy for submitting your questions. Don't forget to give StreamYard your permission so we can see your name. I see lots of people have been checking in. Thank you. Oh, Martha's jumping ahead. She's talking about our snippets, which is fantastic. Pat is heading back to Michigan so she can get caught up on her cotton cuts. I love everything about that. All right. And don't forget to stay to the end of our show because we have a giveaway today, as we always do, for a $25 gift card to our shop. Now, with all of that said, before I jump into what's happening in the shop, Paula has been bitten by the Easter bunny, the Easter bug, Easter bunny. I'm just going to say Paula's been bitten by the Easter bunny. And she was highly motivated this week to make something for today's show so I could show you guys what some fun, easy, and quick projects that you guys could put together. And so, you know, very, very topical is cost of eggs. And if your Facebook and Instagram feed are anything like mine, it's full of alternate ways to dye eggs, including, as we heard this morning on the radio, someone using their toilet to dye eggs, which I think is just a hoax, guys. Like that can't be real. You're not dyeing Easter eggs in a toilet. But in a world where we're looking at, and we're talking a lot about sustainability today and cost, let's talk about a project that Paula found and put together. And first of all, I want to show you the cute little thing at the end that she was able to make with it. And so she used some Easter fabric and she made these cute little eggs and she like arranged them in the basket. I really don't want to take them out, but I kind of have to show you how cool they are. So she just had scraps of fabric, right? And so we had some scraps lying around from these Easter prints and she sewed them and they have this cute little pouch in the back. And so she stuffed them with fabric so I could show you guys what they look like. But you could put candy in this. You could put gift cards in this. You could put little projects in this. Oh, look, they're saying, great job, Paula. They like what you did. So these guys are actually super quick and easy to sew. I know Easter's like in 4 days, and I know not everybody celebrates Easter, so please bear with us. But the concept is to find quick and easy projects that you guys can sew that I know when we think of quilting, we think of sewing, we think of a lifetime commitment or something that's going to take us many months. But it doesn't have to be that way. And literally the project starts with this. It starts with just getting a piece of paper that looks like an egg. And on one piece of fabric, you trace your egg, you cut it out. And then on the other one, you get 2 pieces of fabric, you fold them in half, you overlap them, and then you trace and cut your egg. Stitch them right sides together, flip them, and bam, you've got an egg. This is a fantastic, quick, easy project. If you're looking for like, my kids are a little older. They don't do the toys as much as they used to, but like gift cards, like you could put little things in there. You could also put cash in there. I don't think either one of my children would look away from cash. But I do appreciate, I was at a lunch yesterday, and one of the questions that we were asked was, what are some of your favorite holiday traditions? And so as my children get older, one of the things that I love are the younger things that they're still doing. So on Sunday morning, there's a Boy Scout troop that puts candy-filled eggs in everyone's yard. And so our yard will have the candy-filled eggs again. And we've been doing this since the kids were really, really young, even during the pandemic. And they'll get their little baskets out. And even at 13 and 14, they're going and collecting all these eggs from our yard. And that's just one of those things, like, I love that they still kind of, I don't know if they do it for them or if they do it for me, but that's one of those fun traditions that I love that continues on. Okay, so with that, now let's get back to the quilting. Let's get back to the cotton pet stuff. All right. Oh. And so, sorry, Paula also wanted me to show you in the cute handmade category, this cute little handmade Easter basket that is hanging out here. And then also in the quick Easter project category. So Cheryl from our team loves to make coasters. And so we always have, like, we have Valentine's Day, we've had Christmas, we've had Halloween. And so these are cute little fun. And so for these, this isn't actually like binding that's stitched on, but fabric that is then flipped over and top stitched down, just to make it super quick and easy. I'm going to use this technique. When I went to Hawaii, I got some fabric. And so I have a group of friends that I'm going to use this to make coasters for. Super quick, super easy, not too late, even with Easter on Sunday. Okay. Now we're going to get to the fun stuff. So what is happening in the shop this week? I would say, I'm looking at this list, and every week it gets longer and longer of all the things we're working on. So first, we're talking Tim Holtz. So all the Tim Holtz Yellow Neutral has shipped and has left the building. So it is my opportunity to get to show you guys what the Tim Holtz fabrics looks like when stitched together. And so I have been stitching the colors into what I am going to make large quilt blocks. So I am not making them into pillows, even though that's what the website says. I'm actually going to keep all those fabrics, and I'm going to make a large block quilt. And so what I want to show you is the neutral fabrics. And so this is what the neutral block looks like when it is all stitched together. And so I am an engineer, and so everything is linear for me. And so you can see I paired the fabrics together. I'm going to see if I can slide over. And so I paired all the fabrics together and made my even points like that. And then we also have yellow. So we shipped both yellow and neutral together. The timing worked out such that it made a lot more sense for us to do it that way. So we did. And here is the yellow. Ba-bam, ba-bam, ba-bam. And so you can see I am pretty consistent. And so I definitely line up my points and my stars. Now, green is here in the shop, guys. I am excited about the green. When I look at the green, I get a little bit of holiday vibes from it, but I can't wait to see what you guys make and come up with that. So the green's here. Next week, I will show you guys the green Tim Holtz fabrics, and know that they're going to be shipping on time for the month of May, which is fantastic. Big news. Make sure you guys have next Friday at 1 p.m. Central Time reserved on your calendars, because it is time for us to do our fantastic Wild West reveal. Wild West has been 10 months in the making. It is just flown right by. Like, it feels like just yesterday. I had Angie on the live show, and she was singing about the Wild West quilt, but that was almost a year ago, gang. So Wild West Clue 10 is shipping next week. The big reveal is next Friday at 1 o'clock. For everyone who's going through this the first time, so when we have a big reveal, everyone's Clue 10s, if you're a month-to-month detective, gets mailed to you on Friday. But everyone, even if you're doing prepaid or month-to-month, everyone will get those clues emailed to you on Friday at approximately 1:05 p.m. so you can start sewing on them. That way, if you're month to month, you don't have to wait for that package to arrive to start sewing it, and you don't have to see the reveal and then wait for a couple of days. You can get started sewing immediately. So go ahead and feel free and book next weekend so you can get those quilts together. Thank you guys so much that have been submitting guesses. I always love to see how close or how far away you are. Those are coming in. Let's see here. Erin actually beat me to the punch. She says that her and her mother are going to start putting together their guesses to send in. And so Paula, we'll see if we can get like a video collage or something together of your guesses and kind of see who got the closest to it. I can tell you Ian was close. But we will see his pictures and see what he put together for us next week on the show. As always, we have guests. We have lots of guests. We have lots of surprises. We're going to do a couple things a little different, which is absolutely fine and fantastic, but it is going to be a great time. You are going to want to join us for that show. Now, if you participate in Wild West and you ordered backing or border kits or anything else along those lines, those are all being cut right now, and they're going to start shipping early next week. We are excited. Those are going to start rolling out next week. And through the end of the week, we are getting everything out on time, and it feels pretty darn good. Okay. With that said, when one mystery comes to an end, another one starts. And so it is time for us to start looking at the next 10-month puzzle mystery quilt, Under the Sea. And so we have 9 finalized colorways. Those will be up on the website next week for you guys to start taking a peek at. But our team needs your help. So we always let you guys pick the names for the colorways, and we have for the past several. That's a lot of fun, right? We put up a colorway and then you guys get to pick the name with it. However, Under the Sea is a super broad theme. Like the sea is, as we know, a pretty big part of this world we live in. And so what we would like your help with is, when you think of Under the Sea, how can we fine tune that theme? So do you think of sea creatures? Do you think of mammals? Do you think of coral reefs? Do you think of pirates and boats? When you think of Under the Sea, what do you think of? Because we always try to kind of fine tune a little bit the theme around a central kind of context. And so in that case, right, if we had like we did Wild West, right? So we could have done geographical features, like we could have done Grand Canyon. We could have done, countries, states, all those things, right? And so we like to kind of narrow it in a little bit. So we would love to hear from you what direction you would love for us to take the Under the Sea theme. Now, I keep coming back to Under the Sea reminds me of 1950s proms, in which case sock hop and all that kind of comes into the theme, but I keep getting overridden. So please help us make a better decision than that and give Paula some ideas for themes in which we should take the name. All right. So let's see here. And also, if you participated in Wild West as well as the Floral States program, you will get a day early access to signups like you always do. We are doing our best. And I want to talk about Wild West, Under the Sea, and we'll talk a little bit about Mystery 5.0. So for all of these programs, we are doing our best to get all of our orders in as quickly as we possibly can to minimize the impact of any planned tariffs on these goods. As we all know, tariffs are a thing. They're coming into place, and we are starting to see some price impacts. And so we are trying to get as much of that in as we can so we can hold our pricing as close as we possibly can for these 2 programs that are starting up this summer. So our team is doing a lot of accelerated work and a lot of negotiating work to make sure we can hold our pricing. And so in that scenario, I want you guys just to be aware that I know there's a lot of uncertainty when it comes to fabric pricing as we look forward for the next 3 to 6 months. From our perspective, for Under the Sea and for Mystery 5.0, we're keeping our pricing as tight as we possibly can because we're working as quickly as we possibly can. I see lots of fantastic Under the Sea. So Sebastian from Little Mermaid. Little Mermaid has come up. I see Kim Martin put in Little Mermaid as well. Nemo names, like we can come up with fish. Like we can all do lots of, we could just probably go to an aquarium and get tons of inspiration for this. Keep the ideas coming. Paula is going to appreciate and love all that. All right. Let's see here. Oh, platinum. So we're going to talk about platinum because our Modern Maker has just shipped. And so I wanted to show you guys the Modern Maker fabrics that shipped this month. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, so this collection, I love this like this burgundy color here. And so this is Meadow Walk from Alexandra Bordello for Andover Fabrics. And so this is the collection that shipped. These are just 6 of the 9 fabrics that were shipped. I just don't have another hand to grab the other ones. But if you sign up for our platinum membership, what that means is we'll send you an email with, here's the chroma thread we're going to ship that month. Here's the Java bundle we ship that month. Here's the Modern Maker. And then here's the classic fabrics that we're going to ship in that given month. And so you get to tell us each month what you want to receive. And so say you're looking at this and you're like, oh, I've got so much of this burgundy, I don't really want it that month. That's fantastic because you don't have to receive it, right? If you're a Modern Maker member, you're not, well, say stuck. You're never really stuck, right? We can always change and modify anything. But as a platinum member, you get a sneak peek, and so you can say, "Oh my gosh, I don't like that, but I really think these cabin prints in the classic fabric are amazing. So please send me the classic fabric this month, and make sure you include these fat quarters in it." And so we love our platinum membership. You have to sign up before the 1st of the month to get the next month's collection. So just keep that in mind. Rachel likes this one with the blue. Yeah, the blue is actually a nice, fun little accent in these guys. We did like that when they were putting the groupings together. All right, let's see here. And the classic, I already showed you guys the classic fabrics. Those are going to ship soon as well. Now I want to talk about Mystery 5.0. So our first Mystery 5.0, the Starbright Mini Mystery, you guys loved it. It was great. It was fun. That feels like it was like a year ago. It was actually only 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And so I know that if you have joined the other Mystery 5.0 groups, and if you've been following along with other stores, you can see that there's another mini mystery coming up at the end of May. So some of the shops are choosing to also participate in a second mini mystery before the big mini mystery in July. We have opted out of that because we want to make sure that we stay focused on Under the Sea and on to the big Mystery 5.0 that's coming in July. So I know I've seen some questions in those groups about, hey, what about this mini mystery in May? Our shop is not participating, but there's a lot of other fantastic shops that are. They are going to be also doing a similar thing where they'll have bundles that you could buy from their shop, and they'll be doing the live sew on the day. We aren't doing that because we want to make sure that we stay committed to our puzzle mystery quilt, to the Mystery 5.0, and to all the other things we've got going on. But definitely, please check out another shop and see if you like the fabrics they curate or the bundles they put together. That's the beauty of this program, is everyone's taking this base program and doing it a little differently. So you can definitely participate with another shop. That is not a problem at all. Okay, let's see here. Beth is asking for Flat Nancy for Wild West. Do you post the monthly where you post the monthly winners? So for our Wild West Flat Nancy, we announce all 10 months winners at the end. And so we give folks about a month after Clue 10 ships to get their finished quilts together for their last entry, because we give a grand prize to someone who does all 10 months for Flat Nancy. So we save all those winners to the very end. Plus, then that way you can use your Flat Nancy prize when you sign up for Under the Sea as well. Megan Martin, I'm going to ask this question of the audience, is asking what subscription is best for beginners just starting out? My answer is all of them. I feel like all of our subscriptions and everything we do are fantastic for beginners just starting. But if you were to give Megan some advice, what Cotton Cuts membership, Chroma, Java, Modern Maker, Classic, Puzzle Mystery Quilt, Snippet, Stitchits, what would you recommend for a beginner just starting out? So Megan, I know that you're joining us on Facebook. I'll try to read out some of the answers and reasons that I see as they come in. Okay. All right. Now on to our main topic. So our Earth Day challenge and some ways in which you can quilt and sew more sustainably this year. Sorry. So Terry has a question. When did the extra add-ons for Flyaway become available, like backing and extra borders? Okay. So Terry, those have already been on the website for Flyaway, the backings and the extra borders. If you missed out, please send us an email to help at Cotton Cuts, and our team will get you sorted and situated. Angela Gordon is asking, what is Flat Nancy? That is a fantastic question, Angela. So for the Wild West Carnival and Tree of Life Mystery, we did a Flat Nancy challenge. And so we included a little card in Clue 1 for those mysteries. And if you took a photo with your sewn clue and the Flat Nancy and gave us a description of where you were stitching it and submitted it on our website each month, we pick, I think it's 10, maybe 20. I don't know. Someone else helps me with this, but I think there's 10 or 20 winners of a $25 gift card each month. If you sew all 10 clues with your Flat Nancy by the end, you're entered to win a free puzzle mystery quilt for the next mystery. So that's the Flat Nancy program. I think if you go to cottoncuts.com/Flat Nancy, or in the header, pull down for Flat Nancy, you'll find more information about it. To the question about subscription, I see some PMQ votes. I think PMQ is a fantastic choice. If you know how to sew, and if you can sew a straight line, you can put together a beautiful quilt. You don't have to worry about coordinating fabrics. It's all pre-cut for you. Kelly Parker is asking, is there somewhere to find a list of shops participating in the mini mystery? Kelly, I'm going to get Paula to put a list up to the Mystery 5.0 website so you can find a list of participating shops. So there's no Flat Nancy on Flyaway, Misty. What we chose to do for Flyaway was to do the mystery within a mystery. And so inside each clue, I wish I had one here. I will see if I can get one. But inside each clue is a logic puzzle. And it is a crime that our Chief Inspector Rosa is solving. And so if you solve the logic puzzle and you submit it on the website, we're doing the same thing. We're giving away monthly winner gift cards. And then if you do all 10 months, there'll be a grand prize at the end. So we decided to change a little bit from Flat Nancy. Here comes Paula because she's awesome. And so for all of our Flyaway clues, like this is clue 2, which everyone should have by now. On the inside, there's this fun little kind of game that you get to play. It's a logic puzzle. Dominic is helping me with this. And so this is our version of the Flat Nancy for the Flyaway program. Everyone seems to be liking it. We're getting lots of entries for that too. So we'll kind of see for Under the Sea what we choose to do. But we like to have that little kind of monthly check-in to make sure everyone's, sewing along, keeping up. We want you to finish these projects. We don't want them to become dormant and on the wall. Let's see here. I think that's all the questions. So let's go ahead and jump into today's challenge. So Earth Day is April 22nd. That's coming up real soon. I think it's in 5 days. And so every year for Earth Day, it's a good opportunity for us to revisit our commitment to sustainability here at Cotton Cuts. We hate throwing fabric away. We have lots of dispositions from our projects and our programs to make sure that we keep as much of our fabric out of the landfill as possible. So for us at Cotton Cuts, we die cut a lot of fabrics. And when we die cut all these fabrics, we keep all those parts and pieces and then we sort them. And so we either sort them into pieces that could be used to be made and sewn into other projects, or pieces that are too small to be sewn and can be donated to organizations that can upcycle and use them. And so this has been our commitment. And I'm a quilter. I cannot throw anything away. Everything has to have a use. There's nothing that ends up in any of our trash cans that's fabric based. And we also recycle a ton, right? That's kind of what we do. And so, why is it important to us to do that, right? Clearly, there's the value that the fabric has. This fabric is expensive. Every bit matters. Every bit counts. But I have some statistics here that I want to share with you guys. And it's a good opportunity to just cover some of these. So in the United States alone, annual textile waste is about 17 million tons of textile waste each year, accounting for 5.8% of our solid waste generated in this country alone. And so textile waste, I want to be clear what I mean. It's not just fabric, right? It's not just crafts, but it's also textile waste. So to cut out this shirt that I'm wearing, we all know that there were parts and pieces that were scrap. And so we generate approximately 17 million tons of textile waste every year. Now that is waste left over from the shirt, but also when people are done with their clothes, so many of those end up in the trash as well. And so we live in a world where fast fashion is becoming a thing. And so clothes are not meant to last as long as they used to. And so it is a huge amount of textile waste that ends up in the trash. The landfills. So in 2018, 11.3 million tons of textiles were sent to landfills in the US. And so that's just landfill waste. This is one of those things that, again, it's the clothes that are thrown away. It is the leftovers from fabric that is thrown away. Recycling rates, only 14.7%. Only 14.7%, guys. Less than 15% of textiles are recycled, with clothing and footwear recycling rates at just 13%. Right? That is such a small number, you guys. That is such a small number of recycling from what we could be doing, which leaves a huge opportunity to upcycle and to reuse. And so on average, an American, one person discards 82 pounds of clothes annually. So that's feels a little hard to do, but when you think about it on average, so of course it's on average. So some people are more than that and some people are less than that. I know there have been times our family has gone through and purged closets, right? When you've got kids, they're constantly churning over clothes. We donate as much of that as we possibly can, but in some cases it's not feasible for donation. My kids are athletes. They're hard on their clothes, right? And so it's about 82 pounds on average of clothes. And so those are big numbers. And I am motivated by this as well. So I am an entrepreneur in residence at Washington University in St. Louis here. And I am working closely with the team on textile waste upcycling. This is a cool project for me. I love this. And so there's a team of students at WashU that is working on ways in which to convert textile waste, fabric waste, into cardboard as a cardboard substitute. And they've done a ton of technology development, and they've done a ton of sourcing and a ton of testing. And they found a way to make textile waste into cardboard. And one of the questions they've been asked at every competition I've ever seen them at is, where are you getting these textiles from? Where are you getting these fabrics? Surely you must be getting them from a country like China or Southeast Asia. You must be importing these scraps in order to make your goods. And they said, no, it's all generated here in St. Louis from cut and sew shops that are here that are generating textile waste from the clothes that are being made. And they're able to take just the waste generated here in St. Louis and be able to make enough cardboard to, I mean, the numbers are crazy, enough cardboard to ship a certain number of packages. And so I know when we think about this, we think that this is a, clothes are manufactured outside the United States. Surely this waste problem doesn't exist here. In St. Louis, it's a problem. And I know that there's so many cut and sew shops around the United States that this is a big-ish problem if we're not conscious in looking at ways in which to upcycle these materials into better goods. So what does that mean for us? And so I know I've seen a lot of comments. You guys love our snippets. You guys love our scraps. Those are so much fun. So that's our doorbell again, because it works today. We're getting a delivery. So I apologize if there's a little bit of background noise. So what does that mean for us? So every year Cotton Cuts hosts an Earth Day challenge. And I am excited to talk about this year's challenge as well. So what we are going to do is we are going to offer our snippets, which are the fabrics that are left over after we die cut, as well as our puzzle mystery quilt bolt ends and leftover parts and pieces. And we are sponsoring a challenge for you guys. And so let me talk about kind of what each of those are and ways in which you could use them. All right, so in this case, so the first thing we have is our snippet bag. So I know we've got a lot of snippet lovers out there. And so these little bags are 13 to 15 ounces. They're random scraps, parts, and pieces, but everything is left over from our die cut process. So I'm just gonna pop in and pull out the first one. And so you can see, if you've gotten these in the past, you can see where we cut our triangles out. But you can also see, like, this is a chunk of fabric, gang. Like, this is not something I ever want to throw away. It's got a chunk of fabric here. It's got a chunk of fabric in the middle. It's got a huge strip. If you have an iron and you've got a ruler, you can cut these pieces into something super, super usable. Now, they are, as I said, 13 to 15 ounces. If that was a continuous cut of fabric in this bag, it would be about 2 yards. Now, clearly it's not, guys. But there are parts and pieces. You can see we've got some accent fabrics. Our commitment in these snippet bags is that there's always at least 3 different prints in each one. So we try not to give you all the same fabric. So this is what our snippet bag is. We also have our bolt end bags. And so when we get to the end of a mystery, and so these are both from Carnival, we have bolt ends and parts and pieces left over. So we keep these. Let me talk about why we keep them and what we keep. So when we get to the end of a mystery, we're about to end Wild West. The whole time we've been cutting Wild West, we've been keeping all of our bolt ends. So if we get to the end of a bolt and we get a piece that's too small, we keep it. We have a filing system where we sort them by colorway. That way, if someone emails out to us in 3 months and it's like, hey, my dog ate my Clue 5, can I get a new Clue 5? We can keep those bolt ends. We keep kind of a library. I'll call it a library. I kind of like calling it a library. We'll call it a library of old colorways. And so we have these bolt ends. We also have all the leftover triangles, squares, and strips, right? So, our machine will cut 96 triangles at a time. If we only need to ship 20 of them, we don't want to throw those triangles away. Again, we're trying to keep it as sustainable as possible. So we keep those in the library with the bolt ends. So if you contact us in a year and you're like, for Wild West, I cannot find my Clue 7, we have our library, we can pull the parts and pieces and we can mail them to you. Now, eventually it gets to be like, our library might be overflowing and it might consume all of us. So once we get to about 2 years post a mystery, which Carnival is, we put them in bags like this. And so in our puzzle mystery quilt bolt ends and parts and pieces, you're going to find some of these. So this was like a leftover strip that we had some leftover on. You can see there's some squares and some triangles in here. And then there's some big with the fabric bolt end pieces. And so what we are going to do is, and here's another colorway as well. So you can see there's some squares here. There's some big bolt-in pieces. But again, this is helping us make sure that we can keep our library going without being consumed by our library. And so we keep those for you guys so that when you reach out to us, we can service you. But at the same time, once it gets past 2 years, I'm hoping you've sewn them all together and we can actually start moving them to other places. So for this challenge, what we've done is we've created a product listing on our website. If you go to the homepage and you click on Earth Day Challenge, these are $10, guys. We don't want to keep these. We want to have them go to you guys so you can do better, more creative things with them. And so you'll have your choice to get a snippet. A lot of people like our snippets because they're a fantastic selvage creator. We don't use selvages on any of our products. You guys don't want to receive a selvage in your die cut parts and pieces. So our snippets are fantastic fantastic for salvage collectors, but you have to have the iron and you have to be willing to cut and organize. Or you can get a puzzle mystery quilt bolt end bag with parts and pieces. Now, this is all going to be a surprise. It's going to be you get what you get. We're just going to grab whatever's on top, and that is what is going to come to your way. But we're encouraging everyone to take a snippet bag or a puzzle mystery quilt bolt-in bag and show us how creative you can be. And so in this situation, you can, if you've already got a snippet bag and it's been hanging around, you don't know what to do with it, please use it for this project. If you don't have any or you want to get more, please go to the website and we'll send these to you. We're going to be shipping these every day as long as we can. And the way the challenge is going to work is it will run through June 3rd. So you guys got about 7 weeks. You guys have a good chunk of time to get all the fabrics together, get a plan together, get a project in place. And so we're doing this as we've run many of our previous challenges. And so there'll be 2 categories. So your first category is going to be a small project, right? It's 7 weeks. It's both a long time and not a long time. And so I'm going to show you some examples of some previous scraps and snippet projects that my team has put together, but a small project. So we will have a category for a small project. So think pillow, think bag, think any sort of accessory. String quilt is a fantastic suggestion we just got on Instagram. So think of a small project that you want to do. The other project is actually a quilt. And so I am always completely blown away by the quilts that people are able to make from a single bag of fabric. I am always inspired by this. I hope you guys are as inspired by the community work as possible as well. And so the idea is you have to take this bag. We have to know it's this bag. You don't have to use only the things that are in the bag. You can definitely add stash fabrics. You can buy more fabrics if you like. I would prefer if you used your stash fabrics and make these projects. Wherever you are inspired to go with the fabrics that you receive is definitely what we want to see. And so June 3rd is when you have to get your entry in, take a photo, post it on social media. We have the Earth Day Challenge website has a form for you to upload your photo as well. And then we're going to do a community vote. So we will create a website. We'll post everyone's projects on it, and you get to vote and tell us which one you think is the favorite. So if you enter, tell all your friends, go and put out on a Facebook post and say, go vote for me. All of the community voting applies here because ultimately we want everyone to see as much of your work as possible and all the things that we're able to make with scraps of fabric that would normally end up in a landfill or in some sort of solid waste. Pat Vizino. Pat Vizino is saying that I go to the warehouse and I open a door and they all fall out on top of me and we don't want to drown in bags. Please, let's all help. Let's all help do our part and make sure that we're all doing the right thing here. Okay, so let me show you some previous projects that my team has made with some scraps and some snippet bags. My team is always doing awesome things with the things that we have lying around in the shop. So I'm going to start first with here. So this would fall into our small project category. So this is a Crimson Canyon snippets. And so, we were able to take, the creator was able to take the strips and sew them together and made a log cabin, right? And it's definitely, it's got some wonky, right? Because not all the strips are the same length. It doesn't all come out square. It's not all centered, which is great, but it's just fantastic. And she even was able to put a little hook on it for a hot pad. Very fun, small project. We showed these during the reveal. And this is a pillow set that Cheryl was able to make. And she used her snippets that were all coordinated from the same collection to make this awesome pillow. And they meet together, right? The intention is not that all the fabrics make a square when they meet in the middle, but I love the asymmetry of this. She has 2 of these and she actually uses them with her PMQ. Dawn used this. So Dawn was really motivated by this daffodil collection. And so she was able to cut squares from our scraps that we had, and she stitched them together. And because she's super crazy creative, she fussy cut out some of the key features in the creatures. This was close to Goldilocks. And so you can see we've got Goldilocks and the 3 bears, and we've got a couple different iterations of Goldilocks on this pillow. And then it wasn't just squares for Dawn. She actually used them and cut the strips as well. And so this gets to the string quilt suggestion that came to us on Instagram, was sewing all of your strings together. It doesn't take much, guys. And I'm sure with one of these bags, you can make a pillow like this pretty darn easy. And then we get to the fun quilts that Dawn's made. And so I unfortunately cannot stand up where I am right now and show them but I can hold up large sections. And so again, This is super fun, super bright, made with scraps. And this is one of these things I am super structured and I would need balance, but I love that Dawn is just throwing all caution to the wind as she makes this and putting all sorts of random scrap fabrics together because it's bright and it's fun and it's beautiful and it's amazing. So again, another quick project that can be made with strips and scraps. And then the last one, so this was a house, I Spy, I believe. Dawn is going to correct me if I got this wrong. But she was able to take scraps and make little houses. And then in some of them, she even fussy cut out some elements. Like this one here has a little like Frankenstein character in it, right? And so once you get the scraps, right, you can let the scraps sing to you and take them wherever you want to go. But it's a tiny neighborhood quilt. I have a little version of this at home too. And it's super cute. Dawn did a fantastic job. And it's very scrappy, right? Not every roof has to match every house. It doesn't have to be. You can break rules when you have scraps. And the scrappier, the more you lean into differences, the cuter and the more amazing it comes out. So, okay. And I think we also have these pot holders too. We're also made with scraps that have been found, scrappy pot holders with some fantastic rickrack framing around the outside and as well ribbon used for a tassel. Okay, Paula, did I get them all? Did I get them all? Yes, I think so, she says. Okay, so those are some of the projects. We also have some galleries and we have some Pinterest pages to help get you inspired and excited about this challenge. We love this challenge. We love hosting it every year. We love continuing the cycle and making sure that we're taking scraps, not putting them in the trash and continuing to upcycle them. Now, I know that it's easy for us to do this around Earth Day, right? We have the reminder every year, Earth Day happens. But I wanted to leave you guys with some sustainable quilting practices, some things that you guys can practice every day in your own quilting to help minimize the impact of some of the textile waste that happens in this country. And so the first is something we've been leaning into a lot this episode, and that's scrap quilting, right? We talk many times about how to organize scraps. I think we're going to do a separate dedicated show on that. But incorporating your fabric scraps into quilts, right? I know we're so excited and so eager to I see that pattern in a shop and I want to make that pattern and I'm going to sew that quilt. And then we have our scraps and we're shiny squirrels, right? We want to go to the shiny squirrel. We want to go to the shiny squirrel. But the scraps can be valuable. And as we've seen in Dawn's projects here, the scrappier, the better. They don't have to be a central theme. They don't have to all be from the same designer. To make scrappy, beautiful projects, it does not have to all sing the same song. It can sing whatever song you want it to sing. Upcycle and repurposing. So transforming old clothing, linens, and textiles into quilts or quilt blocks. And I'm also going to push the opposite of this, taking old quilts where it might have a hole, it might be worn, it might be used. You can actually cut that apart and make clothing from it. I am seeing this all the time, you guys. My feed, we've all went through the quilting jacket phase. Now we're in a quilting sweatshirt phase. And I even just saw in my feed people adding flying geese to cuffs of their pants to make bell bottoms. This is becoming a thing. Now we're getting back into the bell bottom phase and people are using quilted pieces on the bottom of jeans to be bell bottom. And again, it's all upcycling and repurposing, and that's scraps. You don't need a lot of fabric to be able to put flying geese into the bottom of pants. Where you might have a hole where the cuff might be torn on the bottom, you can actually add fabric to it and all of a sudden it's a new piece of clothing. So zero waste quilting techniques. I know when it comes to flying geese, there's a lot of zero waste. There's a lot of no waste method. There's a lot of where you do the turn 4 types of things. Taking all of these zero waste methods, also embracing improv quilting. I participated in a sewing bee where the person that I was making the block for wanted an improv block. And she said, just get whatever scrap you have handy. And I made it. And it was one of my most favorite things ever. I didn't cut anything square. There were no 90 degrees in any of this. I just grabbed a piece, stitched it, cut it off when I got to the end of the stitching, grabbed another piece, cut it, grabbed another piece, cut it. And it was just the best 30 minutes of not thinking that I have had in a while. And I just embraced that. So it's improv quilting, crumb quilting, string quilting. You can get receipts or even those postcards that you get in the mail from magazines. And you can stitch fabric onto the top of it if you think it's too small. And before you know it, you've got a block. And then you can tear the paper away. And before you know it, you've got a quilt. Misty is saying all the clothing I'm seeing with quilt blocks on them are so cute. I have yet to see something on clothing that I'm really unhappy with. And I love that it's coming back in the way it is, because I grew up in the world where, clothes were handmade as a child for me. And I was like, I don't think I can go back to that. But I like the integration of the quilt design into the clothing versus making the quilt the clothing. I think that's a fantastic twist on it that makes it fresher and more modern. Energy efficient sewing. And so this is something I think, in our sewing studios, especially in mine, lighting is kind of a secondary concern, but upgrading your lightings to LED lights versus incandescent light bulbs. Making sure you have LED spotlights on. This one's big for me because I think I even came in this morning. I accidentally left the sewing machine plugged in overnight. Making sure you unplug your sewing machines, make sure you unplug your irons. Even better and even easier, what I do in my sewing room is I have all of that plugged into a surge protector. And so I can turn them all off at once versus having to remember to turn off each individual element. I have LED lights on my actual sewing machine that the cord is kind of hard to hit. So by having the surge protector, it all comes off at once. Natural fabric dyeing. So we didn't talk about it in the beginning, but the actual dyes that are used to color certain fabrics are toxic to the environment. And so there's a big push to convert the dyes into natural dyes. So if you are wanting to explore this is fun. I had an employee take a class at our botanical garden here where they use natural dyes made from plants, fruits, vegetables. And depending on how those materials oxidize, you could take something red and it makes something that's blue or black, depending on how they oxidize in the air. But using natural materials to dye fabrics and to dye textiles is a fantastic thing that you can do in your own sewing. Eco-friendly packaging and storing. So making sure that you're reusing fabric bags, making sure that you're recycling packaging, glass, metal containers over plastic. And so when we ship most of our cotton cuts boxes, they always have a label for you to put the contents in it. I'm hoping that you guys are taking our boxes and upcycling them, reusing them, the little trays. I'm hoping that you guys are using them for other purposes. That's part of what I know we're shipping in cardboard. We have to ship certain things in cardboard just for the stability through the supply chain. We don't want you to get fabric that's wet or ripped or been eaten by a machine. So making sure that you're upcycling a lot of different materials that you have. My husband's a big fan of he buys something and it has a container that it comes in and he just gives it to me. And then I stash it and I find something for us to do with it in the house, just so that way we're not throwing it away. We're not contributing more to the waste there. Community fabric swaps. And so this is a fantastic use of fabric that you might have bought 10 years ago and don't know why you bought it. And so here in St. Louis, we have a fantastic resource called City Sewing Room. City Sewing Room is a resource. It's downtown, and they collect a lot of fabric scraps from a lot of resources, and then they resell them by the pound. And so they have sidewalk sales, and you can go and you can buy a bunch of fabric. They sell them by the pound for a couple bucks. The idea is, again, they're trying to keep all this fabric and putting it into the right hands of the people that can use it creatively. You can also find these. There's a ton on Facebook. I'm in a couple groups of fabric swaps of people that get fabric and want to post it and want to swap it versus trying to sell it on some of the selling pages. If you're into this and you've got stuff that you want to swap with someone, or you're looking for a creative older print, the fabric swap would definitely be a place to go. And then, of course, there's manufacturers that are more sustainable in their production of their goods. We did a whole show on this. I think it was a while ago about this, but there's certain certifications that fabrics are getting. Our Gallery of Fabrics is leading the way on this. And so their certification that comes on their fabric actually tells that not only they're using sustainable raw materials, but they are also using favorable hiring practices, equitable pay, that their entire supply chain, in order to get the OEDX certification, their entire supply chain has to meet certain criteria, including sustainable brands, sustainable dyes, and making sure that their waste stream is as minimal as possible. Okay, that's it. That's all the stuff I had for you guys today. I am very excited about this challenge. I love being inspired by you guys. I cannot wait to see what you guys are putting together with our snippets or our PMQ Bolton bags. Get those ordered. Make sure you have enough time to get the fabric to absorb what it could potentially be and match it with the perfect pattern. Like I said, we've got galleries on our website, on the Earth Day Challenge site. We have a Pinterest board. We have a ton, like on our snippet page, we have projects that have been made. I am always always, always, always blown away. And I hope this year is no different. You guys have until June 3rd to get those entries in on the website. So it's plenty of time. Now, for hanging with me till the very end, we have a question for you guys. So all you have to do is find this video on Facebook, on Instagram, or on YouTube and answer this question to be entered to win a $25 gift card from our shop. So what is the coolest thing you've made from scraps? And I'm going to add on to that and why. Or if you haven't made any scraps yet, what do you want to make with your scraps? And so I'm going to give you guys a couple different ways to take that question, just so we can use this as a Kickstarter for inspiration for people participating in our challenge. And as always, feel free to post progress on cottoncutsfabric.com. You can definitely use snippets you bought earlier this year, Kristen. If you haven't touched it, I want you to use them. So if you've bought it and haven't used it, this is a fantastic opportunity to use it into a project. If you want to post a pattern idea and get feedback, that Cotton Cuts Fabric group is a great place to build community. And if you're unsure, right, this is hard. Like I can't go to the parents on my kids' soccer team and be like, hey, I'm doing a scrap challenge. What do you think of ... That's not going to work. But I am more than happy to ask folks in the Cotton Cuts Fabric group. I think we've hit like 10,000 people in that group. Yeah, we are over 10,000 people. It's a highly engaged group. So you should get lots of feedback to those types of questions. I think better than the soccer moms on the sideline at my kids' soccer games. Right. So what's the coolest thing you made from scraps? Feel free to go ahead and post that in the comments. Do not forget, next Friday, April 25th at 1 o'clock, we are going to be doing our Wild West reveal. It's going to be fun. It's going to be crazy. It'll be wonky. There might be set mistakes. There will definitely be costumes, but definitely stay tuned. With that, I will let everyone get to sewing and enjoying the weather wherever you guys are. That is it, and we will see you all next week. Bye now. And cut. Thank you so much for watching our video. We have so much fun making these, and we hope that you were both delighted and inspired by what you just watched. This video was sponsored by Cotton Cuts. Cotton Cuts is your one stop for all the best fabric and thread memberships. Love fabric? We've got you covered. Love thread? We've got you covered. We get that no two quilters are cut from the same cloth, which is why our memberships are as unique as you. We also have the largest block of the month in the world. Over 4,000 detectives solve our puzzle mystery quilts every year, and you can join them. Simply go to cottoncuts.com to learn more about all the awesome and fun things that we're doing. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe to make sure you get all of our new fresh content every time it comes out. Thank you so much. Happy sewing enthusiasts, and we will see you soon. Bye now.